7:43, we're back with today's real estate, the best and worst home improvements. Sprucing up your house can lead to a payday when it's time to sell, but when is an upgrade a worthy investment? When is it a waste of money? Barbara Corcoran is today's real estate contributor. Barbara, good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning, Matt.
This is a question every homeowner has to ask themselves when it comes time to selling a house. Where do I put my money? Where do I spruce up? Is there a rule of thumb before we get to the specifics on your list?
Yeah, typically you could just spend 5% of the value of your home, not even think about it. In a rare instance, you could spend as much as 10% and get the money back.
All right. You've got a list that we're going to go over. The 3 best home improvements for your money.
The ones that make sense.
The 3 worst. Let's start with the best. The first thing a prospective buyer sees when they get to your house is the front door. You say replace it.
Of course, it's inexpensive to replace. It costs roughly $1,100, $1,200. You'll get more than that money back. What's great about replacing the front door, other than the fact that it's cheap, is people immediately decide if they don't want your house, and it's very often based on a first impression of the front door.
Yeah, you walk up to the front door and it looks awful. You assume immediately that what is inside that front door will also be awful.
Well put. And usually that's the case, by the way. There's a reason why people make that assumption after they've seen a few houses.
All right, you also suggest, is kind of keeping in the same area, replacing the garage door. What's the cost that you can recoup on something like this?
You'll get about 87% roughly back on the cost of a garage door.
So the average cost is about $1,291?
Yes, it is.
And you'll get back about $1,083?
Yes, you will. And the reason why the garage door is so important is for many homes, particularly one-family homes, one-story homes, the garage door is more than 50% of the front facade. So you really can't afford to overlook it.
All right. And finally, in terms of the good suggestions for home improvements, you like adding a deck. And that one surprised me a little bit. Why is that so important?
Because if you look at a house today without an outdoor wood deck, it looks as though something is missing. Buyers love decks. They love using them. They even love daydreaming about the summertime in the middle of the winter. It's a visual extension of the inside space.
But you need to do it well, because if you don't plan it right and bring in someone who knows what they're doing, it can look like the deck just fell from outer space and landed next to your house.
It's so true. We've seen so many bad decks, but a typical deck today is roughly 10 by 30. The cost of that deck is only $10,000, and you'll get $7,000 back.
All right, let's go to the worst ideas when it comes to home improvement in terms of getting bang for your buck. You say that a home office remodel is a bad idea. Why?
It's a bad idea and often thought about by the man of the house, I must say, so the woman should really weigh in on this. But they're expensive to put in, they're very expensive to equip, and you'll never get the money back. Right now, they're typically $28,000. You get $13,000 back. And if I might add one other thing, you lose a bedroom, which is a terrible idea when it comes to selling a house. Buyers shop by bedrooms.
Okay, next home improvement you say to stay away from is adding a sunroom. And this surprised me, because why is a deck a good idea and a sunroom a bad idea?
Because a deck is always used. A sunroom is never used. People typically poorly furnish it with leftover furniture. It shows poorly. It gets
it's
in the way
expensive,
of the
by
house.
the way, about $75,000 to add one.
Plus, after you pay for it, you have to heat it and cool it, which is also expensive.
And finally, real quickly, people may be surprised by this, but adding a new bathroom is not worth the money.
Never worth the money. People will just not pay that premium that it costs to add a bathroom. Although it's the smallest room in the house, it costs $40,000. You're much better off doing a quick nip and tuck on a few of the things in the bathroom. Make it just look good enough.
All right, Barbara Corcoran, great advice as always. Thanks very much.